There's a McDonald's employee that was filmed screaming at a bunch of black teenagers to get out when those black teenagers, there was Muslim black teenagers, were attacked by a guy with a gun. Now we're gonna take a look at the video first because it's wild as shit. And I want you guys to watch this and I want you to pay attention. And then after the video is done, I'm gonna give you my thoughts on it, all right?
Hey. I follow my friends. What's up? Oh, whoa!
Hey, everybody go.
Yo, he has a gun. Wallah, he has a gun.
He has a gun.
He has a gun? Wallah, he has a gun.
Everybody out. Everybody out.
Pull the gun up.
I understand that. I want everyone out of my store now.
He has a gun.
I don't give a fuck. Get out of my store
You're
now.
gonna send him out
Now.
there? Hey, don't send him out there when the dude just pulled a fucking gun
I
on
want
him.
everybody out of my store. And
You
I
better
don't-
call the fucking
He
cops.
pulled
is
a
what
gun.
you're
Call
doing.
the cops. He pulled a gun. He pulled a gun.
I want everyone out now.
You get shot by some crazy.
Thank you.
Damn.
Call the cops.
He just pulled out a gun.
Oh my god.
What the hell?
So a few things to point out very quickly is that the white lady who was a manager, and more often than not, I want to call the manager person here is the literal manager here, and she immediately decides to kick everyone out, even though outside there is a person who is who's obviously armed, who started this conversation to begin with, who started this altercation to begin with. What's shocking to me is that this person does not call the fucking cops in this instance. Like, I thought that these people were so prone to calling cops on black people when it comes to barbecues, when it comes to even putting their feet up on college lectures, prone to calling cops when little black girls are selling water bottles. But apparently, when a group of Muslims are the victims of a hate crime and could potentially be killed, this white lady forgets to call the cops, but then even beyond that, she also kicks them out. Very shocking. Very, very interesting. She didn't call the cops because she was afraid the cops started shooting. It's really interesting that, it's really interesting that you forget to fucking call the cops when this shit happens. So let's look at some other videos here too.
Hey, everybody, let's go.
No, he said that if he pulled out a gun, he pulled out for a reason.
Apparently, the manager said also that if he pulled out a gun, he pulled it out for a reason.
Wallah, he just said that.
I'm telling you, I didn't blame you. I never say I'm blaming. I say he pulled out for a reason. I didn't say why. Okay?
No, wait, listen.
Oh, never mind. It wasn't the manager. It was this dipshit that said that.
I follow my friends. What's up? Oh, whoa!
Hey, everybody go.
I mean, you can even see him pulling out the gun here, too. So, according to Farida Osman, who tweeted the video, the altercation began when a man in line behind Osman and her friends lost his patience waiting for them to pay for their food and made a derogatory remark offending Osman's friend. The two exchanged words and the man began swearing. Feeling threatened, the girls called their male friends over to the line. The video begins with the man apparently pulling a gun. While the weapon is not visible, the teens shout and scatter and then back out of the McDonald's. The guy backs out of the McDonald's. Then two employees demand the teenagers leave, one screaming and swearing at the group until a white customer steps in to defend them and recommends calling the police. Now, that's the definition of a good white guy. That's that guy who stepped in, the older white dude in that instance, is a ally. He is a smart enough person. And notice, by the way, the barrier for allyship is remarkably low in that instance. But it's good. It's good that there's like at least someone there who's like, hey, no, hold the fuck up. You're not gonna kick them out. You should absolutely call the cops. That's what you should be doing. The person has a gun out there. She, on the other hand, is the classic racist person who's like, I don't give a fuck what you're doing. Get the fuck out of my store. Not giving a shit about what might happen when these people go outside, especially because the dude literally pulled a gun out. So during the break between the videos, the male employee made the comment about the gunman having a reason to point his weapon at the group, says Osman, who shared her story with MuslimGirl.com. Because the employees wasted time screaming at the teens, the gunman was long gone by the time they heeded the other customers' advice and called the cops. Like I said, though, what's really the most important takeaway here, is that you absolutely, if you're in the presence of something like this happening, you should 100% film it regardless, and you should also intervene. You should absolutely come in and step in and use the privilege that you may or may not have to put your body in front of this situation if you would like to do so. I know that that's like not everyone is as courageous as others, and not everyone wants to step into the line of fire quite literally in this instance. But you should 100% try to do that. I highly recommend it. Thank God for social media so we can film these sort of altercations. Because this normally might be commonplace for people. But we would never, ever have heard of it if it wasn't for the fact that this was filmed and posted on social media. So, apparently, the franchise manager Paul Ostergaard attempted to mitigate the damage, telling MuslimGirl.com, "Nothing is more important than the safety and security of our customers and employees. We will take this matter seriously and are working with local law enforcement while we investigate the situation." That person should not have a gun anymore. If that person is like pulling out their weapon in a McDonald's at a group of Muslim teenagers after hurling slur words at them, that person has demonstrated that they're not responsible with their weapon. If they're brandishing a weapon at a McDonald's after a hate speech laden altercation, then that person is, who knows what the fuck that person is going to do next. That person could very easily become another shooter. Regardless, though. Go out to be shot. The gunman could have walked into the store and shot up the store. So yeah. My prescription in this instance is that the manager has demonstrated that she is woefully negligent. And I don't know, I guess firing her wouldn't be too terrible of a decision. And that the guy with the gun should absolutely be arrested as quickly as possible. The reason why I'm mentioning this, of course, though, is that hate crimes against Muslims and Jews and other minorities have increased. But hate crimes against Muslims has specifically risen. We didn't see the whole incident, though. Oh, here we go, dude. Here we fucking go, dude. We didn't see the whole incident, guys, are here. Let's go. The reason why it's not necessary to see the whole incident is because you already know what the outcome is. This is disproportionate. Pulling out your gun in this instance is a disproportionate retaliation. And also, we have eyewitness testimony from multiple people, and we also have another, if you want to have a credible witness in this instance, like you have a white guy. So at least you could be comfortable. I'm talking about the manager. What do you mean? No, fire her. Her negligence of possible straight up malice put these people in danger. No, absolutely, I agree. Yeah, there's no justification for pulling a gun on a group of teenagers. Okay, there's no like, especially because I'm fairly certain that hold on, this is a stand your ground state too. So like most likely, if that person shot at these people, hold on, let's see, Minnesota stand your ground. Yeah, Minnesota doesn't need to loosen stand your ground law. It's this basic. Minnesotans don't need additional state laws to defend themselves with firearms. Current law already allows the use of guns for self-defense within reasonable limits. So Minnesota already has like some form of a stand your law, I guess, but not necessarily. Oh no, actually, you know what? They Governor Mark Dayton was trying to was trying to allow a stand your ground measure to advance this year. Next year, last week, House members gave a second hearing in the bill that would broaden immunity to those who shoot someone because they feel threatened. So they were trying to expand the stand your ground laws that already exist. In any case, though, it's never
I'm just an average guy who read public documents.
It's never a
for the elites
reasonable
said they were
way.
gonna enslave.
It's never a reasonable thing to use. More often than not, the victims are black. More often than not, it doesn't work when the person who actually ends up shooting another person, when they're a person of color, it doesn't favor them at all. Stand your ground laws are usually very racially biased. And an example of that would be, or like a Castle Doctrine example of that, and a Castle Doctrine expansion of that happened with the very famous George Zimmerman Trayvon Martin case. I'm just saying it's hard to see how it played out inside the store and whether the manager didn't believe them because of particular reasons. Oh, Lexer NQ. Ay. What do I got to do with people like you, man? What would it take for you, Lexer NQ? Let's ask what it would take for you to believe that this was not justified, that the manager was kicking children out when there was a person brandishing a weapon and aiming a gun at them. What would it take for that person not to kick these kids out? Stand your ground laws are an expansion upon the Castle Doctrine. It's basically turning the Castle Doctrine into a justification for where you can shoot people, outside of your house. That's the expansion that stand your law is. Jank Uger TYT, get back to work, nephew. That's funny. Did she just walk out back 30 seconds before the video started? All she heard was kids screaming. Okay, but that doesn't change anything. That doesn't change anything, especially when the guy... Okay, Lexer, here's why you're absolutely incorrect. Are you ready? Are you ready? Here's why you're absolutely incorrect, okay? Here. Let's take a look at this again. This is the moment where...
I want everyone out of my store now!
She's screaming, I want everyone out of my store now, pointing at the group of teenagers.
I don't give a fuck! Get out of my store now!
The people are like, hey, he has a gun. Like, they're trying to describe to her the situation. They're saying, hey, he has a gun. He's, like, aiming a gun at us. She's like, I don't give a fuck, demonstrating that she does not give a fuck about their safety.
Send them out
Now!
there.
And then a white dude steps in. See? Like, maybe you can understand it a little bit better because a white guy steps in, a reasonable, calm third party who's also respectable and civil, steps in and says, hey, no, don't do this. Don't fucking do this. And relays the message from the brown children that she was unable to hear, let's say, for one reason or the other.
Don't send them out there when the dude just pulled a fucking gun on him.
See, she shuts the fuck up. He says, don't send them out there when the dude has literally pulled a weapon on them. And her response, once she starts flailing her hands back again.
Don't send them out there when the dude just pulled a fucking gun
I
on
want
him.
everybody out of my store. And
You better call the fucking cops. is what you-
You better call the fucking cops is what you should do.
The cops, he pulled a gun at
everyone out now!
Get shot by some...
What more would you like to see here, Lexer NQ? Fuck you, cunt. I'm saying it's not clear cut. What would make it more clear cut for you in that instance? No, you're not saying that it's not clear cut. Multiple people in that instance have already pretty clearly explained to her the situation and why the video starting 10 minutes before. What could have happened in that instance? Why do you think this other rational actor, this other white person, is also in on the prank, I guess? If she would not listen to the kids, why is she also not listening to the guy? It's pretty racially biased, I would say. It's pretty clear cut, unless you have a personal bias. It's very difficult to mistake what's going on here. Regardless, by the way, regardless of whatever the fucking race of these children would be, regardless of whatever the race of the guy is, if something like this happened and the person was like, no, you need to go outside and put them in danger instead of calling the police officers and ensuring that they stayed inside, then, you know, if she followed through in that same line of reasoning, regardless of the color, it's still grossly negligent. You're essentially sending out these kids to die outside. Maybe I'm just too skeptical. Is not necessarily the case here. I mean, if you look at this footage and if you analyze it over and over again and you still think, okay, well, what did the children do? What do you think the children could have done that justified this behavior? Even though she said she doesn't fucking care. Anyway. Katie Quixotic, thank you for the 5-month subscription. 5 months flexing. Thank you so much. Oh, the Dutch blackface. Dutch court rejects bid to ban race blackface Christmas character from state television. Yeah, I don't know about Dutch culture enough to talk about that. Where are their guns? The Democrats want these screeching brown people defenseless. Yeah, exactly. Okay, children, teenagers, who gives a fuck? Like, this is a semantical distinction, and it's not necessarily that big of a deal. Destiny thought the manager was in the right. Yeah, I disagree with him then. I absolutely disagree with him. Why do you sympathize with Karl Marx and the Marxists? Okay, I'm not gonna talk about that before. I'm not gonna get into all of that other stuff. I'm not taking comments right now before I finish this stuff. Okay. So the larger point I want to make is multiple fold here. Okay. Number one, it's really strange to me. Destiny specifically said, go to Hassan's stream if you want sympathy for the kids. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I guess you're here for the sympathy for the children. Okay. So, number one, it's really interesting to me that white people love weaponizing the police force when it comes to people of color, when they're terrified of people of color. They make these they make these terrible calls whenever there's like some innocent person just like existing. And a lot of times, obviously not the majority of times, but like a big chunk of the times, because even one is too much, those interactions turn violent. Okay? We already know what the facts are. Unarmed black people are unarmed black men, young black men are 21 times more likely to be killed by the police than white people. This happens all too frequently. So knowingly, white people will call police officers on black people. Like I said, knowingly, police officers will oftentimes call, white people will call police officers on black people, even though they understand that their lives might be put in jeopardy. But for some reason, no police officers were called in this instance when when these black teenagers' lives were put in jeopardy by another white person with a gun. So that's number one. That's really strange to me. It's really, really interesting. I mean, I'm not making any assertions beyond that. It's really, really strange. Yeah, but you can't take general trends and apply them to analyze individual circumstances. I'm not doing that. I'm just saying it's really interesting. Really, really interesting to me. Okay, so that's one. Of course, I'm not saying that like all white people do this either, by the way. But it is an interesting trend that I've seen. So that's number one. Number two is hate crime is increasing. Hate crime against Muslims, specifically, like I said before, has risen to levels to post 9/11 2001 levels, dude. And that's the data I wanted to show you guys. Harassment of religious groups all around the world has hit its highest point since 2007, but specifically assaults against Muslims in the U.S. have surpassed 2001 levels. That is really interesting, and it's been increasing rapidly. It's been increasing dramatically since Donald Trump not only got elected, but since Donald Trump got on the campaign trail. Very shocking. I wonder what that's about. The anti-Muslim assaults in the U.S. reported to the FBI were at 93. There were 93 anti-Muslim assaults in 2001. And now in 2016, it's risen to 127. How do you know if someone's a Muslim, says Casino Clams? Well, how did you know these people were Muslim? They were wearing hijabs. Hassan, you're so hot. I think you would be the perfect human if it weren't for the ears. Oh my God. How dare you? That's how people know when someone's a Muslim. Or by their skin color, or oftentimes by the way they're dressed, or oftentimes by their accents. Or because someone will say, you're a sand N-word, and the person responds with, yes, I am a Muslim, or I don't know. Anyway. Whew. Okay. And assaults are not the only form of hate crime carried against Muslims and other religious groups. The most common is intimidation, which is defined as reasonable fear of bodily harm. Anti-Muslim intimidation also increased in 2016 with 144 reported victims compared to the 120 the previous year. These numbers are still dwarfed by the 296 victims of anti-Muslim intimidation in 2001. These are like the most conservative estimates, by the way. These are the most conservative estimates. Also, if you recall, right after Donald Trump got elected, a bunch of Sikh people were murdered in hate crimes. And Sikh people are unintentionally the target of hate crimes because racists who like to distinguish between white people and non-white people oftentimes cannot make the distinction between Sikh people and Muslims because they're like a brown person with a long beard. So they'll usually say, oh, you're Muslim, and then they go kill them. Okay. So overall, there were 307 incidents of anti-Muslim hate crimes in 2016, marking a 19% increase from the previous year. As in previous years, the largest number of all types of hate crime incidents against religious groups targeted are, of course, Jews. In 2016, there were 684 anti-Jewish hate crime incidents, marking a slight increase from 664 in 2015. But yeah. And by comparison, in the United States, in 2016, because Christians love to fucking meme this and say, the white Christians are the ones that are really under attack. Well, Christians, for being Christian at least, were the target of 62 hate crimes against Catholics and 15 against Protestants. Yeah. Additional information from a Pew Center survey conducted in early 2017 says 3/4 of Muslim American adults say that there is a lot of discrimination against Muslims in the U.S., a view shared by nearly 7 in 10 adults in the general public. 69% of the general public think that Muslim adults or Muslims face discrimination, a lot of discrimination. This is by the way, again, the reason why this is like undercounted, the reason why this is an incredibly conservative estimate is because FBI collects hate crime data from about 15,000 law enforcement agencies that voluntarily participate. So this is a undercount of the hate crimes, likely is an undercount of the hate crime. This is like what the Pew Center also, when they're referring to these statistics, this is what they reference. So it's like literally the minimum, the minimum hate crimes that are happening, the numbers that I'm giving you. 1 in 4 Muslim women in New York also report that they've been pushed on a subway platform while wearing a hijab. Like I said, that's usually a fairly clear indicator. A picture of empty bus seats was literally spread out by Swedish racists because they thought the cloth-covered seats were Muslims in burqa. They do be dumb as shit. Yeah. Do you personally feel hate crimes have grown in percentage, or they're just more likely to be reported? Like, do you feel victims are now exposed to more community support? I can't say. Everything I speak as far as that goes would be personal speculation. I don't know if there's any indicators that like they have more community support to report hate crimes specifically. But yeah. The point is, when it comes to hijabs, for example, I don't do it. Obviously, like my family members, no females in my family wear hijabs. They don't wear any sort of religious scarves or anything like that. No burqas, no nothing. I don't have an issue with someone who wants to personally make the decision to wear that as a form of protection or as a form of like as a form of religious freedom. If they want to do that, they can. Ilhan Omar is a perfect example of this. The congresswoman who's now pushing to allow wearing religious religious gear and headscarves inside of Congress halls. Like I said, if people want to do it, they should be able to do so. I personally don't, and I personally wouldn't. But if someone wants to do that because that's their own that's their own prerogative, then they should absolutely be able to do that. Yeah, Muslim women should be allowed to wear whatever the fuck they want. Okay. Where were we? What else was I going to talk about? A brief thing that I want to say, because someone just mentioned that as a Muslim, I think we stigmatize homosexuals. Someone wrote that comment. To be fair, as a Muslim, I got to say our stigmatizing of the gay community is pretty bad. Well, Sid, like across the board, sure, like Muslims need to certainly evolve and progress when it comes to their views of the gay community or the LGBT community as a whole. But statistically speaking, again, Muslims across the board are not fundamentalists, even though that's the common perspective that a lot of Americans and even a lot of people in the Western world hold on to, except white evangelicals, according to another Pew Center study, are actually less tolerant of homosexuals than Muslims are. In the end of the day, and this is facts, in the end of the day, U.S. Muslims are more accepting of homosexuality than white evangelicals, okay? And there's, here, let's look right here at the Pew Center research right here. Muslims are now more accepting of homosexuality. That rate has increased dramatically since 2007. That change is like faster and larger than all other communities. It's a form of adaptation. Obviously, they're adapting and assimilating, and that's what's happening. U.S. Muslim women are also way more understanding. U.S. Muslim millennials are way more understanding. But if you look at white evangelicals, that number is at 34, and the change increase is only 11 since 2006 to 2016. In that past decade, the white evangelical position has only progressed a little bit. U.S. Muslims' position on social progress has changed a lot faster than that. The reason why, and this isn't the perfect comparison, of course, because Muslims are just people who practice Islam. Like I would be considered a Muslim, right? Or people who claim that they're Muslim, or they're people who grew up in a Muslim household, or they're Muslims, right? So they're not fundamentalists. Not all Muslims are fundamentalists. The reason why I'm doing this, though, the reason why I'm making this comparison, even though it's not a perfect comparison, is because a lot of people assume that Muslims are more extreme. Every single Muslim is more extreme than white evangelicals, because they oftentimes forget that there are plenty of Muslims who are like, I'm just Muslim, dude. I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm super progressive. I'm a, you know, there are LGBT Muslims. There are practicing LGBT Muslims. Like, it's just ridiculous to fucking assume that, like, all Muslims are fundamentalists. So that's one. And then two, the second reason why I'm mentioning this is because white evangelicals represent a much more powerful political voter base than fucking Muslims do in this country. And that's why. Okay? That's the reason why this is an important, this is, while not a perfect comparison, still an important one to make. Anyway. So yeah. Obviously, not 100% of, I'm not saying that like 100% of fucking Muslims are open-minded to the LGBT community. It should be that way, of course. I think that's bigotry, and bigotry should be squashed out no matter what. Oh, you meant in the UK, since we have more of a problem here of progress of Muslims. Yeah, I can't speak to UK. I don't know what the stats are of Muslims in the United Kingdom. I have no idea, and I can't speak to it. I could look into it further if you guys would want me to, but for the time being, my perspective is exclusively about Muslims living in the United States. Religion is not a justification for being a bigot. Yes, absolutely. I think it's ridiculous when Christians do it. It's absolutely ridiculous when Muslims do it as well. I just hate that. I hate that meme, though. Like, I hate that meme that a lot of liberals even engage in when they're like, well, why do you want to fucking tolerate, why do you want to tolerate bigotry when it's Islam? It's like, no, dude, I don't tolerate bigotry when it's fucking Islam. I don't. No progressive tolerates bigotry when it's Islam. No one is saying like, oh, well, they're just Muslims, so like, whatever, it's fine. They can be as bigoted as they want. That's fucking stupid. Can we please have a fact check on the whole UK Muslims are worse? I know, that's something that everyone we should look into that. We should absolutely look into that. Well, the one that Sean and Jen did a great video on that I can recall was the meme, like the Sargon of Akkad meme, and like a meme that I see on the internet so frequently, which is like, well, why won't the Muslim community actually condemn terror, actually condemn acts of Islamist terror? Well, that's a fucking absolutely been disproven a million times over. I'm sorry, what bigotry do people feel like is excused? I don't know. You'd have to ask the people who fucking make those statements. The reason leftists don't talk about Muslims as much is because it's abundantly obvious that traditional Islam is bigoted. Traditional religion is bigoted across the board, Petrol Bomb. It's so silly. Like, something that even Sean talked about, which I think it was incredible in his video. Like, it was something that I hadn't even thought about, where it's like, well, what about all of those Muslims living in other countries that are throwing gay people off of roofs, right? Like, when they fucking talk about that, well, it's like, who are they throwing off the roof? Did they go out in fucking Islamabad and find the one white Western Christian gay person? They're throwing off gay Muslims, dude. Like, they're oppressing the other homosexuals in that same Islamic fucking community. So obviously there are, and I say this all the goddamn time as a progressive Muslim myself who grew up in fucking Turkey, like who criticizes our authoritarian government back there all the fucking time. Like, there are progressive Muslims. There are plenty of progressive Muslims living inside of these communities that want to reform the communities from within, but it is an incredibly difficult fucking thing to do when you also have to, in some instances, almost align yourselves with, especially in the Western facing side of things, you have to align yourselves with Muslims that you would fucking normally fight ferociously if you were in Turkey. You know what I mean? If Muslims were in charge in the US, would it be that easy to walk its streets without hijabs? What do you mean? Muslims were in charge in the US? I'm confused by that question. Anyway. Like, obviously, I'm a secularist, and that no religious law. What do you think of Majid Nawaz? Yeah, he fucking sucks, dude. Like, I've seen some of his shit. It's like those like, oh, I escaped intolerance in a Muslim majority country, so I'm just gonna fucking shit on all Islam now for the rest of my life and make a quick buck while I do it. People are really frustrating to me because technically I have been oppressed by a Muslim country as well. But you don't see me fucking speaking out against it all the goddamn time. It's so silly. Like, most Muslim countries don't even have these, like, really fucking ridiculous, like, hijab laws. What you're thinking about oftentimes is fucking Saudi Arabia and Wahhabi extremism, which is hilarious because, Saudi Arabia is America's greatest ally, right? So much of a fucking ally that Donald Trump refuses to condemn Jamal Khashoggi's brutal murder in the hands of the Saudi state. So, who are the real fucking bigots, or who are the real tolerant people here? Do you see what I'm saying? It's really strange to me that we constantly fucking virtue signal here in America about, Muslims, they're bad. Oh my God, Muslims are so dangerous. They're so bigoted. And it's like the real fucking bigoted Muslims, and I'm not saying like all Saudis are this way, obviously, but the real bigoted Muslims certainly sit at the head of the Saudi monarchy, and yet we fucking buddy with them all the goddamn time. Because they have oil and they have a lot of money to buy our weapons so they can go and fucking bomb Yemen. What the fuck? I thought we were against bigotry. What the fuck is that, dude? What happened? I thought we were against Muslims being like super bigoted. Well, there you go, dude. There you go. That's what happens in fucking super bigoted countries. Yeah. Trump has gone harder on fucking Jim Acosta for asking questions than Saudi Arabia for cutting up a journalist and putting him into 15 different pieces. A journalist that was a U.S. resident, by the way. A U.S. permanent resident. Like, and a fucking U.S. journalist, too. So strange. Anyway. Politically and militarily, anything could be changed about Saudi Arabia? Yes. Starve out the Saudi government. 1,000%. Starve them the fuck out. 1,000%. Also focus on energy independence through green energy initiatives. And starve them out by not necessarily being as oil dependent. So those are some ways to do that. Anyway. No, I wouldn't support military intervention even if it's to take out the Saudi government. No. Would that really harm the Saudi monarchy? It would affect the people way more. What, not buying Saudi oil and focusing on energy independence beyond that? No, absolutely not, dude. There's ways of getting around this. We do it with other countries. We just refuse to even start having a conversation about Saudi Arabia because they are too powerful. Most people want single payer. We can't even get that. How do you think we could stop Saudi support? I mean, what? Should I just stop advocating for it then because it seems very unlikely? Or should I try to spread this message as far and wide as possible so that people actually start pushing back on this and get their representatives to also start speaking out against it? Yeah. Anyway. How about with the good old way? Arm a rebel group and cause turmoil in the country and install a puppet. Yeah, let's not do that. I don't think raising awareness is sufficient. No, I didn't say raising awareness is enough, Lonely Danbo. Are you claiming that I don't understand. Should I just give up then? Should I not try to fucking fight back and provide reasonable things that we could do just like I did already as a form of foreign policy, just because like US foreign policy is seemingly impossible to change? The interests of the military industrial complex are far too powerful for little old me to actually speak up about it. The fuck do you mean? Then I should just literally hang the reins, stop doing political commentary altogether, and just stop altogether and just like focus on my life. That's because that's literally the things I advocate for are very difficult. Like the things I advocate for are very difficult. Let's just go back to fucking having a nihilistic meme perspective. Then we can be just like the alt-right. Anyway. So yeah, that was that. Does anyone have like a serious opposition to anything I've said? You can let your voices be heard. Yeah, I want to abolish that industry as well. Not use it to my advantage when lobbying with the current economic structure is virtually impossible to fight against by collective action. It's very difficult. We've literally seen that. You know what I mean? We've seen that with look at the Bernie Sanders campaign, or look at grassroots initiatives happening all around the country. AstroTurf is still more successful than fucking grassroots for the most part, despite the actual human beings being in support of something. Anyway, so I want to hear Destiny's perspective on this. On the kids at least. So if anyone can relay that to me from what Destiny said. He's playing a video game right now. I'm not going to call him. What? Don't let him win you over? He's not going to win me over. I have a fairly strong position on this by just looking at it. I like that Arya fucking thinks that I'm gonna totally change my mind. He's gonna point out how privileged I am. What? Already mocked you on the kids. He stands by the manager. What the fuck? What did he preemptively mock me? He doesn't know what my fucking he doesn't know what my perspective was. Here's a Destiny VOD. Is this when he was talking? Wait, you have to actually give me where he talks about this. Yeah, link it. Yeah, it's a fucking for a Valorum. You sent me a 5-hour stream, dude. It was at 4 hours and 24 minutes. Oh, here it is. All right, I found it. All right, we can look at it. Hold on. Here.
Oh, shit. We don't want to talk about this one. There's so many different approaches here. Firstly, this is the most reasonable explanation. My guess, this manager's probably seen a lot of fucking rowdy teens. She probably doesn't believe shit. She probably doesn't believe that there's a fucking dude with a gun outside. There's probably just a ton of fucking teens screaming and screeching inside of her store. And she's probably just like, dude, I don't give a fuck. I'm sure he's got tons of guns. Get the fuck out of my fucking restaurant. That's going to be my guess for as to what probably happened here. That's my guess. She probably does, because if she actually thought there was a guy outside with a gun, she'd probably be like hiding behind the counter, calling like fucking 911 or some shit. That would be my guess. My second thing is that if there was some guy with a gun outside, I'm not giving shelter to fucking people in my restaurant. What the fuck? Actually, no. Actually, you know what? I actually think it just makes sense. I don't think she thinks that the guy really has a gun, because I think she'd be calling the cops ASAP. That'd be my guess. I think that I don't think she thinks he actually has a gun. Oh, man. Fuck. Does my service background make me too triggered here? It cracks me up when low-level employees say things like my store. No, it is the store in which you work. It isn't your store. You make $8.50 an hour. Okay. I mean, it's not your house. It's just the house in which you make payments on. Technically, the bank owns the house. They've got the title. Like, you just make the payments on it. Like,
Yo, Destiny's, like, personal bias is really jumping out at me right now. I'm not gonna lie, boys. I mean, he seems really upset about this, and I think it has something to do with his like, I'm not gonna say anything because I didn't even know that he used to be a restaurant manager until you guys told me, or until he also mentioned it. But like, judging by the way he reacted to that comment, which is like a classic fucking bullshit meme comment, right? Like, and a privileged comment for sure. It just makes me feel like he's a little biased in this instance, but maybe I'm wrong.
She's probably a manager, and most private companies reserve the right to kick you out. So do you think
she thinks he actually has a gun?
I don't think she thinks there's actually a gun outside. I don't see most normal people standing in a lobby just shouting at kids if they think someone is outside with a gun about to kill people. I could be wrong, but I feel like my assumption is far more reasonable than your assumption. So like, here are two assumptions. Here are two worlds. In one world, you've got a store manager that has a bunch of rowdy kids in the store that are all saying, oh, the guy outside has a gun, okay? Who thinks that they're just rowdy kids and she just wants to get them out. And that's that. Or in the other world, there is a lady who genuinely thinks there's a man standing outside of her store with a gun who's about to kill people, who's throwing kids out to that guy to get killed. Like, I think the former is way more reasonable than the latter.
Or maybe the lady did think that the guy had a gun, wanted to potentially use that gun to threaten these children. We don't know what will happen if the altercation escalated to a violent end. Maybe she just was really frustrated with the fact that inside of her store at this late hour, there was a fucking huge altercation. She didn't know all of the details, but she certainly wasn't really there to sympathize with the children, who she thought, because maybe due to her prior experience with children like that, you know, they were just being rowdy and they probably deserved it and they should just get the fuck out. So my problem isn't with the original. My problem isn't with that assertion. My problem is with the fact that, like, when the older white gentleman also stepped in that instance, and like the lady literally reacted to him, maybe she would have, maybe she should have fucking stood back and actually went over to call the cops.
Both are possible. I can't truly know, but I would be way more inclined to make the first assumption than like the second assumption that like she actually thinks there's a guy outside about to kill people and she's just throwing these kids out there to get killed.
I see what Destiny's saying here though, because like his original statement was, if there was someone out there, if she truly believed that there was someone out there, right, that had a gun and was about to shoot on like he's not watching it without audio. What? I don't know what you're saying. Hold on. If she truly believed that there was a group of there was a guy with a gun and and he was about to shoot, then she'd be hanging behind the counter and like calling the fucking cops or whatever. That's an understandable perspective to have, but that doesn't change the fact that she might think that this person does have a gun. She might still think that this person has a gun, but like has an altercation or what do you call it? The guy doesn't want to fucking hurt anyone inside of the restaurant or whatever, but just only has a bone to pick with the children. Do you see what I'm saying? And like the threatening element here is the fact that like she has the guy has a literal weapon, right? And he's already brandishing it. He's already like, you don't pull out your gun. Without the intention of like firing it for the most part. I mean, I guess a lot of irresponsible people do, take out their weapons and like aim it at people, and there's that's the thing that happens all too frequently. But regardless of what she thinks in this instance, the obvious thing is like she should have still fucking called the police officers and allowed these children to stay as far as shelter inside of her store.
Like, watch part 2. Okay, where's part 2? This will uncover the mystery. Here we go.
Hey, everybody chill. Let's go.
No, he said that if he pull out a gun, he pull out for a reason.
Need to watch the
Well, he just said that.
I didn't blame you. I never say I'm blaming. I say he pulled out about for a reason. I didn't say why. Okay?
No, wait, listen.
But at the same time,
Okay, I don't know who this guy is. This guy sounds fucking stupid as fuck. I have no clue what the fuck this guy's trying to say. Is this a thing, though? Rowdy kids just making shit up like there's a guy outside with a gun, Destiny? Hell yes, it's a thing. Kids make up all sorts of stupid shit when you're in a fucking restaurant and you're being rowdy and loud as fuck with your fucking friends. Hell yeah, I would never believe a fucking teenager about some dumb shit in my restaurant. Even when me and Aaron and Nathan sometimes go to...
Okay, I mean, yeah, like I said, that's pretty biased. Like, and I've certainly, as a customer, been in a situation where like my friends have been rowdy or whatever, but like to like across the board be like, oh, these children are absolutely like just lying about the gun thing after an altercation obviously occurred between an older gentleman and a group of children. You might not have heard maybe that the guy was saying racially charged shit. You might not have even seen the fact that the guy pulled out a weapon. But in the end of the day, the fact of the matter is like there are a group of kids and another person who's literally there saying like, yo, chill. Like there's actually a fucking dude with a gun out there. You know what I mean? In that instance, like all you could do is like, as a manager, all you should be doing in that instance is like trying to fucking, at least make sense of the situation and de-escalate as best as you possibly can, instead of saying, I don't give a fuck, I don't care, get the fuck out of my store, you rowdy teenagers.
Hy-Vee to eat. There's a fucking cop that comes in sometimes because there are kids that are making shit up or doing dumb shit inside there. Hell yeah. Teams make up dumb shit all the fucking time. Okay, I think I'm gonna push back here. I am gonna push back. This is by far your worst take. Honestly, your levels of cynicism or bias or SJW-ness have gotten way too fucking high. If you look at a video like that and your first thought is that white woman is intentionally sending black children out into the street to get executed by a man with a gun and she knows that's gonna happen.
No, I don't think anyone is saying that. I mean, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that like this person is intentionally fucking letting these people go out to die. It's that they don't give a fuck. This person absolutely does not give a shit about their well-being. Like, that's literally what this is. That's literally what is going on here. This person, maybe because she's frustrated from personal experience in the past with youths that are destroying her store or whatever, in this instance, does not give a fuck and literally said she doesn't give a fuck and said, go out. If that person has a gun, like you said they do, I don't give a fuck. I mean, the other guy even got in and said, "Hey, these youths have they are threatened by a person with a weapon. What you should be doing instead of kicking them out is calling the cops." Why is Destiny not looking at the other principle here involved?
If that is your go-to thought, maybe you do spend a little bit too much time on Reddit or in SJW communities or on my subreddit. Like, I think that you have a problem with your thought process there. I think it is way more reasonable. Now, is it possible that she is being an asshole or being rude or whatever? Sure. Thanks for the straw man? Wait, so what's the alternative? I don't think anyone thinks that. Wait, if you don't think they think that, then what's the problem? She's got a bunch of kids that are being loud as fuck in a restaurant. She's just telling them to get the fuck out. Nothing to do with race or gender, by the way. Destiny's the one who brought that up. Wait, when did I say anything about race or gender, right? Wait, did I just say race or gender? She would believe them if they were white? Do we know that?
We kind of do.
Oh, maybe I said black.
We kind of do. We kind of know that she would most likely believe them. Obviously, there's like a lot of the details are super limited in this instance, but she did shut up for the first time when the fucking white dude stepped in. She did. She hadn't. She was fucking screaming. She was screaming at the fucking kids, but then a white dude stepped in and was like, "Hey, chill." And she shut the fuck up then, allowed him to finish. So technically, that might have been ageism, not racism. I don't give a fuck. Like, I don't care about the racial undertones in this instance.
Kids, because you guys were saying she was racist. I swear to, I'm pretty sure someone in here said that she was racist. I don't think I brought up gender. Oh, Andy said white trash earlier, too. I know at least he said that phrase. Destiny, or she's racist. She's not racist. She doesn't believe a single word the blacks say. Angel thump. Destiny, lol. Why can you not accept that tons of white people are just massive racists? This is today, right? I think this is today.
It's interesting though because again, Destiny totally understands that like racism right now isn't necessarily just like lynching people. I've seen him say this stuff all the time, right? I've seen him talk about this all the time with like Trump supporters and whoever he's like debating, but if you're confused by his stance, you can safely assume Destiny is intentionally disregarding any approach to resolving this conflict that would put those rowdy youths outside of the McDonald's and anywhere close to where he keeps his saxophone. Anyway, he's just a big fan of private property that way. The thing I was saying, oh fuck, sorry. Racism only happens when black people call out white people being racist and doing racist things. Yeah, no, so like Destiny totally understands that there are different layers of racism. Like it doesn't have to be overt. Like it doesn't have to literally be like a white lady who happens to be a manager at the McDonald's do think that these children should be baton death marched to their fucking death at the hands of this other white dude with a gun. Like, I don't think she intentionally thought that. The subtle racism in that instance is probably exacerbated by her personal experience with maybe even customers of color, young customers. It's a collection of all of these things. And again, in the end of the day, I don't fucking know. I don't know what I don't know her perspective, but it sure seems a specific kind of way when she's not listening to the children, but she's listening to the other person, even if it's for a little bit. And she's kicking the children out. The older dude stays in the store. Like, he's like, fuck that. I'm not going to fucking leave the goddamn McDonald's. There's a guy with a gun out there. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have to be literally that she is like a person who is in the process of doing a hate crime, or a person who is disseminating hate speech. She clearly, though, in this instance, has a disregard for these children's lives, and she's putting them in harm's way. That's the problem.
She's a racist boomer.
Okay, Destiny's too focused on like the fucking people in his own chat here. Let's keep moving faster.
Your point is good, but there's more to the story here. Police reports indicate that he did have a firearm. That doesn't change anything that I just said. Oh, Andy was saying with the gun carrier for Kent State. Gotcha. If there wasn't a commotion and someone went up to her and said, "Excuse me, there's a man with a gun outside," she would have reacted differently. It was the heat of the moment that she found the info out while she was kicking them out. Yeah, that sounds like way more likely to me. Is this like when Dave Chappelle found out when he's like, I'm 60% comedian and 40% black when Kramer did his thing? Like, maybe I just empathize too much with like a service worker?
I think so. I do think that he's like empathizing too much with the community. I mean, with the service industry worker there because of his like.
That's kind of a dishonest point taking, right? Control effing racist is gonna give you a bias. Okay, I'm sorry. My bad for starting you. Then what's the problem? What did she do wrong? Go. Get me in chat. What did she do wrong? What do you think she did? The title says racist.
The problem there, the problem here in this incident again, and I think I guess we have to like re-specify this. The problem here in this incident is the racial biases that may or may not have also been fueled, but not necessarily justified by her past experiences with other customers. But the racial biases would stem from the fact that one, she did not believe the children, and two, or she was less likely to believe the children, and two, she didn't care for their well-being even after they were like, hey, this is what's happening right now. And there's a guy out there with a gun, and we don't want to go out there because this person might fucking shoot us.
You're probably right. You're probably not right, but you still don't throw people out into a possible active shooter situation. So, like, if you got a bunch of kids being fucking rowdy in your restaurant, you're like, get the fuck out. They're like, we can't go outside. There's a guy with a gun out there.
Like, why take the risk? That's my point. Why take the risk? Why fucking take that risk? Is that how much discontempt you have for fucking, like, little rowdy kids where you're like, I don't give a fuck, dude? Like, in that instance, it's more important that you stop bothering me, or it's more important that you stop being loud inside of my fucking McDonald's than the small chance, maybe, the fucking tiny chance that this person might have a gun.
Destiny, you have fucking PTSD from being a service worker because you had some retarded ass opinions when it comes to shit that happens in businesses. Or maybe you guys have fucking no experience working normal jobs. So you don't see how fucking lazy and worthless either an average worker can be or an average fucking customer can be. Fucking half of these customers are degenerate fucks that need to get a fucking attitude adjustments anyway. Okay? Like, you guys have there are takes that I give that people view as being dumb that are so obviously correct to me. Like, the guy on the plane. You guys had the worst take ever. Destiny, that guy on the plane had patience that he had to save tomorrow. Then why is he riding fucking coach? What kind of a dumb fucking guy? Why is he fucking riding coach in an airplane?
Wait, what the fuck? What do you mean? There could be a... Wait, why is he so interestingly on the side of United Airlines in a very clear-cut situation? I am shocked, dude. Destiny is normally on the side of the fucking proletariat, and all of a sudden he's like, why is he riding coach? The fuck? What is it? Is your answer literally the fucking Sargon of Akkad meme? It's like, well, just buy a first class ticket. Just buy a more expensive ticket if you need to save someone. I'm shocked. I'm honestly shocked that he's saying this, dude. Like, oh my god. No, everyone fucking chill out, by the way. Obviously, he's not like a racist or whatever. Like, holy fuck. Some people are like, oh, KKK, whatever. Chill out, dude. But like, like, he has the capacity to have like different takes.
Plane. He's got patients that are gonna die tomorrow. Firstly, secondly, Destiny, he had to fight the cops to get off the plane so that he
could get a better ticket, dude. Just get a better ticket. Like, okay, what if the entire flight is booked and the fucking first class tickets were unavailable? Just get a different ticket. That's fucking funny. Oh my god.
Or the guy that came in early and opened the fucking building for the fucking firefighters. Like, Destiny, he's just opening the building for the firefighters. That's not his fucking job. Like, this shit is like so obviously like right or wrong. Like, if you had any experience like owning buildings or giving keys to employees to open or like a building, like you don't just, oh my God. Like, you guys have takes that were so obviously fucking bad. And I don't even know how so many of you stand on the wrong side of these things. Holy shit.
Oh my God.
What do you want?
All right. So I think that if they're claiming that he's a gun, you should automatically assume that they're telling the truth. And if anything, like bring him in the back, call the police, and wait for the cops to get there to deal with it. What's the issue with that?
One.
So if
Okay,
Nathan's
whoa.
being... Oh, sorry.
So
Yeah, go ahead,
firstly,
go ahead.
that isn't like what we're technically talking about here, right? What we're
Yes,
talking
it
about
is.
whether
Yes, it is. That's literally what people are saying. What the fuck? That's exactly what it is. Is this Mr. Mouton? You guys were saying that he's like a socialist, and you guys were like fucking with me.
or not she actually, because it sounded like what people were initially claiming was that she threw them out knowing that there was a shooter out there. That was like, it sounded like that was the first claim. But let's assume that's not, let's assume that's not the first claim. Let's assume that she should have double checked. Like, I don't know if it would make sense. First of all, she doesn't necessarily have the responsibility to, but we'll talk about morality, right? If I had a bunch of rowdy kids and I was about to throw them out and all of them were like, oh no, there's a guy, or like somebody's like, oh, there's a guy with a gun outside. I don't know if it's necessarily the responsibility of the supervisor to sit there and like say like, well, I'm going to call the cops. Like every single one of those kids probably has a cell phone. No? Like, couldn't any of them call the cops?
Sure, but the lady's still trying to throw them out, right?
Okay, but if the guy has the gun, can't he just come in?
Sure.
Like,
sure, he could come in, but why would you want to send people out there?
Okay, none of this is literally like, yeah, none of this actually, these are all deflections. Like, I mean, the responsibility in that instance, if you're like a victim there, why didn't you fucking call the cops is not a reasonable take at all. But beyond that, beyond like why didn't you call the cops, not a reasonable take, we're not even having a conversation about who should have called the cops. We're talking about like the lady kicking them out. Like, you know what I mean? Like, why is the lady kicking them out? Why is she not fucking calling the cops if she fucking thought that there was if there was an issue? Maybe she should have just like called the cops on the children, I guess.
Because they're being loud and they're disrupting service in the restaurant.
If Nathan's preschool is in the restaurant and the teachers can't control them and they're being loud and there's a guy outside with a fucking gun, do you want them to just throw your kid out there and be like, well, sorry, your kid was being loud, homie?
Okay, so we're going to say that teenagers are the equivalent here to a preschool class visiting a McDonald's?
No, that's not okay. I'm saying it in the
he's
way
like getting hyper. He's trying to make this a hyper specific. He's trying to make this like as if it's not an analogy that like analogous. He oh my God, he's doing all the things that I've seen him. He's doing all the things that I've seen him like destroy other fucking what do you call it? He's doing all the things that I've seen him like argue against other Republicans, dude. Oh, Jesus Christ. Why is he doing this?
That you would kick him out with a guy outside with a gun. Basically,
But
the big issue is you just don't kick people out. Okay,
you kick people out of restaurants all the time.
There's a claim. This is fucking America. Every other person has a gun. You should obviously believe them. There's school shootings every other fucking day. What's so hard to believe that a guy wants to kill some people over some fucking McDonald's?
I just don't see how keeping them in the restaurant or sending them outside is going to make a big difference. If there's really a dude out there with a gun.
That's your argument. So your argument really is that there's no difference, and either way they're fucked if there's a guy with a gun.
Well, my argument is that the lady in the store probably doesn't actually believe them at all, and she just wants to kick loud people out of the restaurant, and she doesn't think she's actually sending them out.
And my
into,
argument
like,
is that she
death.
should believe them, no matter what. If somebody's claiming there's a gun.
Oh, wait, this is some hashtag me.
So, oh Jesus, he's not gonna go there. Holy fuck. Okay, look. I mean, Destiny's he's a good guy. I think he's like, his personal biases obviously cloud his judgment in this instance. And then beyond that, like, his entire chat fucking turns against him. And he absolutely, like, in that instance, he absolutely fucking, like, pushes further into, like, being edgy. And he just kind of retaliates by being... you know, everybody calm down. He's just like retaliating because he's upset and frustrated because he feels like he's backed into a corner here. Okay. But again, so I don't know what his like perspective was after, right? I don't know what his perspective was after the conversation or whatever. But the fact that he's like, oh, this is a Me Too situation, like you're just apologizing. I mean, you're Mr. Mouton. I heard you're talking about me. No, I'm talking about Destiny, but also Mr. Mouton. Is Mr. Mouton a socialist? Mr. Mouton, are you a socialist? Okay, hold on. So, what was I saying? Oh yeah, I'm a commie. Okay. So what I was going to say, or what I was saying, before Mr. Mouton interrupted and came in hot with his tanky takes. Yeah, I think he's being reactionary because his chat is against him, and because Mr. Mouton is against him as well. He's just like reacting in a negative fashion. But even before we get to that point, because like everyone was like, "Oh, fuck Destiny," whatever. Like people were like retaliating ridiculously. Like the cost of like listening to those kids, the cost of believing those kids in that instance is fairly minimal, as opposed to the potential that they might literally get fucking shot out there. That's what I'm saying. That's what that's why it's silly to be like, oh, it's like Me Too. You want to believe the kids, as he's about to say here, across the board. Like, what about due process is really silly. But let's see.
Me Too shit. Is that what we're doing
No,
right now,
because
Mr.
if there
Whitten?
isn't a gun, then they call the police and the police handle it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's a super easy thing.
Okay, but then in the meantime, they're tying up their manager's time. They've got a bunch of kids in the fucking store.
Boo-hoo. Some people's time are getting tied up over lives. Oh, great, Steve.
Oh, oh, fuck, dude. Holy shit, dude. Mr. Mouton did wreck Destiny in this debate. Oof. Yikes. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. Oh, man. Steve's going to be very upset at me. But also, like, it doesn't matter because he doesn't respond to my text messages, so.
I mean, if my restaurant is getting slammed.
Okay, yeah, he's fucking trolling, dude. He doesn't. Come on, dude. Come on.
Bunch of loud fucking kids.
That's
and my
fine.
fucking. No, it's not fine. Like, you're like. I mean, I understand your point of view. I understand your point of view. No. I understand your point of view, okay? But as somebody that might be a manager at that store, making like fucking $14 an hour, I've got a bunch of dumb fuck kids. I'm gonna get fucking shit on by my manager. Everybody in the fuck.
Oh, they were making $14 an hour, so the possibility that these kids might get shot is like whatever, you know. I have my own life. I have my own problems. I have my own set of problems. So like, I'm not even gonna be able to fucking keep these kids inside and call the cops because it's too much of it's just like taking away too much of my time, and my time is already pretty shitty.
Fucking store is gonna be worse off for it because all of my employees are gonna be stressed because the person running window, who's usually the manager, is not gonna be there because I gotta sit and deal with some annoying fucking kids that want me to call the fucking cops because they're saying some fucking retard outside has a fucking gun. No, that's not just like a boohoo situation. That's like a ruins your whole fucking night because you got some loud dumb fuck teens in your restaurant that don't want to fucking leave. Like that's what it would feel like to me as a manager
really
in that situation.
Sucks. And it like has like a dick in it, like really fucking sucks. Because I agree with you. I worked fucking at fast food, and there's nothing worse than a fucking employee, and there's nothing worse than high schoolers who come to your fucking restaurant. But I would draw the line if somebody is claiming, hey, there's a gun, that like my night being ruined and my manager being ass mad at me is probably, it's probably better to go that route than like throw people outside and like have somebody get shot. Like,
I just don't understand. I don't understand this dichotomy of like, if we keep them inside, they'll be safe from the gun, but if we send them outside, they'll die to the gun.
I mean, I would say people are safer in numbers than just like throwing them outside, right? Like, so if
I mean, they still have their numbers going outside, or is it the extra like 3 or 4 McDonald's staff is what keeps them safe?
I mean, you have stuff to hide behind and stuff like that. I don't know. Being inside is.
Oh my God! Come on, it's so obvious. Come on, Steve. Holy shit! That's literally how it works. The reason why the guy backed out with a gun, and the reason why he didn't fucking keep his gun in there and start shooting at all these fucking kids, is because. It's like much easier. It's much easier to fucking murk a bunch of kids in a dark fucking parking lot than it is in a brightly lit McDonald's where there's cameras everywhere and there's different people. Like, oh my God, dude. Oh my God. Like I said, it's totally, look, dude, it's so obvious that he admitted that he has personal biases and he just like felt like he was fucking backed into a corner. And that's why he's like doubling down on this shit.
usually generally sought as a safer place. There's a reason you don't just throw your yell when there's like shooter in a school. Just like say everybody, all right, fucking flee. They usually tell you to like hide in the classrooms, like take cover or whatever, right?
I guess, but I don't think that's necessarily the same thing here when a guy is literally like right outside supposedly with a gun about to come in and execute people.
Sure, I don't know if there was ever a claim that he was like going to come in and execute people. It looked from the video that he like was kind of like leaving and then he like pulled the gun out. So the best way to defuse the situation is not to follow the guy with the gun, right? You don't want to like follow him.
Okay.
I mean,
then why couldn't they just go out the opposite door?
Was there another door?
Every fast food restaurant, it's probably like fire
Oh
code.
my
I'm
God,
sure there's another
dude.
exit.
Sure, there might be another door.
Why aren't the kids calling the cops? Why aren't the kids taking like the opposite door? Like, why aren't they behaving in a totally rational manner in an instance where like they have a fucking gunman? Like, damn, dude, these kids are not. Destiny isn't scared to go outside because he has lasers for eyes. Like, fuck.
But I still think the best course of action is like to just chill, call the police, and like see what happens. But no, I mean, I agree with you. Like, it fucking sucks and it ruins the manager's night. If people kept doing it over and over, like people kept coming in, like that'd be a fucking big issue. But I think that you should take every like thing with like a gun, especially in the United States. Like seriously, if this was Britbong land where there's like 4 guns in the whole nation, like sure we could talk about it. But because it's the United States and every 5th person has a fucking like rifle attached to their back, like yeah, you should probably take it seriously.
Okay. All right, I understand your point.
Build your computer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Am I right?
damn. Okay, Mr. Mouton. Is this it? Is this the whole thing, or should I keep watching? I'm confused. Do you guys want me to, or is that all of it? Did you see the Our Destiny post that makes after this? I don't know. He goes for longer? God damn, he does? There's like more of this shit? What the fuck? Also, what's up, Mr. Mouton? I've heard a lot about you. I don't know if it's a fucking meme or not that you're like genuinely a leftist, because people were saying that you were like a socialist or whatever. But then I asked Steve and he was like, no, he's not a fucking socialist. So I don't know. But yeah. Oh, he's a lefty, but he doesn't go super hard into politics. Oh, okay. Mouton. You posts you on his Reddit. Mouton. Is that how I'm saying it? Am I saying it right now? Is it Mouton? The best socialist. He's poor, so probably a socialist. Oh my God. A gigaherger, I saw your fucking takes on there too, okay? You can't run away from your perspective. It's the wrong Mouton. Oh, Mouton. Okay, there you go. All right, what else does he say? Okay, well, I'll keep watching, I guess. I don't know what he's gonna.
No.
All right,
I understand your
yeah,
point.
you understand it. We won't agree. That's
Okay.
fine. All right.
Here's
Oh
the
my
reality
God.
that I'm going to give you guys, okay? If you are a customer, I fucking hate you. And if there is a guy outside, I hope he has a fucking gun. So when you're sitting there shitting up my fucking restaurant, I hope you go outside and you run into the guy that you think is out there, okay? Because you know what? Fuck all of you, all right? Fuck every customer that walks in, makes some goddamn fucking noise, and then won't get the fuck out of my goddamn restaurant, okay? Get him the fuck out. Get him out of my goddamn restaurant.
Oh God.
Their mood didn't fit the situation. They were laughing and not caring. Were they?
Is he gonna come back in now? Now that there's new information?
I'm just imagining now, every single time teenagers are going to get thrown out of a restaurant, they could just be like, well, wait, hold on. We can't go outside. There's a guy with a gun out there. Can we stay inside and call the cops? I guess you could. I hope you beg the manager for your life one day, even though you're being rowdy and the manager pulls a gun on you to get back outside. When I go into restaurants, I'm not rowdy. Do you know why? Because I'm not a piece of shit customer. I am quiet and I am polite when I'm inside. And if there was a gunman outside and I told the manager would believe me because I'm quiet and polite. And also,
Destiny, when we went out to dinner in LA, he didn't even want to fucking flex. He didn't even want to use my my social media clout to get ahead in the line. Like that's how fucking polite and respectful he is, guys. He really is. He's not. He does not want to. He does not want to have a conversation with a manager that might even make him come across as like not fully on the side of managers. Which, by the way, no, that's Ragbang would consider that good guy destiny. But that's you're still siding with the manager rather than and they're still bosses. You know what I mean? They're class traders.
Also because I'm white. Okay, so that would never happen to me. I can't even conceive of your hypothetical.
Lumpins, yeah. All right, let's see what else he says. Sweats, didn't he?
This chat is being pretty. You know what? Maybe you guys need to go outside. Hey.
There's a Reddit thread? Is this it?
Get out of my chat. Go outside the Twitch chat. Get out of here. Go outside the Twitch chat. Twitch chat? You guys know what you need to do. Get him out, Twitch chat. Get him out. You're about to have a whole bunch of DGGers coming in here. Pull him out, Twitch chat.
Wait, what?
Get out of my DGG chat. Go outside.
I don't know what he's doing. What is this? I don't know what he's doing right now. Okay.
If you're one of the people that are getting kicked out of my chat right now and you wish you weren't getting kicked out, perhaps you should consider Twitch Prime subbing to me. If you have an Amazon Prime account and it's linked to your Twitch account about cognitive dissonance, maybe he should take his own advice every once in a while and actually try and separate
what is this?
Out his emotional state from the actual arguments he'd make. Maybe he'd realize how fucking ridiculous he was being. Just imagine if one time you did this, a bunch of kids got fucking shot. How would you like it if Nathan was kicked out of a restaurant and then shot? Steven continually engages in this ridiculously stupid rhetoric, probably because he still identifies as an edgy, sociopathic egoist. LOL. Because he's too lazy to read all the philosophy books, or more like any, ever. Let's be real. LOL.
Oh my god. The let's be real is so fucking...
So he's too dishonest to actually realize or to actually admit his arguments are dumb. The worst is when he gets cornered into a position and then weasels his way out of it by constantly either strawmanning chat or trying to avoid the issue with
You made
shitty
a bad
jokes.
argument. It's okay. We still love you, buddy.
I hope Destiny changes his ways, or else I'm gonna be spending a lot more time in Hassan's stream. At least he's pro-socialism. There.
Destiny, your post needs more typos to be
my
accurate.
God.
Is that okay? There you go. Now you can all upvote this one. This is
Oh, Jesus Christ, dude. What the fuck? Oh my god. Also, Hassan has one S, guy. Holy shit. The 2S Hassan. The double S Hassan.